Hello, my name is López Martinelli. I'm co-founder and general director of Hipocampus Centros de Aprendizaje, and I'm here to talk about this game-changing thing called early childhood education. And what we do is precisely provide superior early childcare and education, partnering with businesses that have labor-intensive processes and employ a large amount of working moms, and therefore allowing them to have a more stable workforce. And in the meanwhile, providing opportunities for employment for women. And with this combo, this mixed cocktail of things, we're able to provide an extremely world-changing opportunity for children by allowing them to have top-notch early childhood education. We do this through pedagogy based on Montessori and constructivist. This is top-of-the-line, modern-based pedagogy, and we help children also have early exposure to the English language. This pedagogy, of course, is not new, and is actually currently available in the market, only that it costs at least 5 times as much as we're able to offer it, sometimes even 10 times as much. And the reason why we're able to make our prices accessible to the majority of Mexicans is because of these partnerships we have with businesses. And businesses that have labor-intensive processes employ a lot of women, and they often face attrition, absenteeism, and just lower productivity that they would like. And through our services, they can have enhanced recruitment, productivity, and reduced turnover. We are based on a success story. Hipocampus India launched in 2011, and from that time to now, they've launched about 300 centers. And so they've refined a very successful methodology for recruitment, for training and empowerment of women, and for managing and for scale. They have a mobile-based ERP. And here in Mexico, we've tried to copy the best of what works in India into the Mexican model. And we opened our first center just last fall. And we're very happy and very proud that we've done it with the highest quality standards in pedagogy, security, recruitment, training, and evaluation. It's been alive for a short while, but it's done very well. And we've done this securing our first business partner, that it belongs to a large corporation, so there's a big potential upside and growth with them. And we've also done this for the support of Grey Matters Capital as the first seed investment and a committed second seed tranche that I'll speak to in a few minutes. But what's the big issue with early childhood education? Well, it turns out that during the early years, before we hit 7 years old, 80% of our brain is developed. And you may wonder, what do we do with the rest of our lives? Well, it turns out that really not all that much, or just 20%. And that's why children are such brilliant learning machines. But they don't only learn academics or math or language as we may often deduct learning to be, but we learn about ourselves. How do we perceive ourselves? Whether we feel we're capable or not of tackling challenges that we have never encountered before. Whether we perceive that violence that violence is a viable solution to the problems that we have. It's such an integral and wholesome period of our lives, and it turns out that society is missing the point because we're not helping children develop to their maximum potential. And Heckman put out a study that is pretty famous. You may already be familiar with it. But it turns out that children that don't have an adequate early childhood, they're about 25% more likely to drop out of school, 40% more likely to become teen parents, and 60% less likely to attend college. There's also statistics on criminology, even cardiovascular diseases. This is huge. And if you take this problem in mind and just park it there for a second, and look at the challenge in Mexico. There's about 11 million children aged 0 to 5. And only about 13% of the children aged 0 to 3 have access to public service. And this is a childcare public service that is also very poor quality. There's a big difference in keeping a child safe and in keeping a child in a nurturing environment that will allow the child to go to his or her potential. In addition to that, 93% of government-run preschools only run for about 3 to 4 hours per day. And if you are a working mom or a working parent and you need to work your full 8-hour journey a day, then what do you do? And this is one side of the challenge. The other side of the challenge is when moms get pregnant in the Mexican working environment, about 60% of them leave work. And then very few of them, about 10%, come back to work. Working moms with a child that are very young, they also face higher turnover, higher absenteeism, lower productivity in return, and then challenges in career growth. So we have these three elements there that make it very special for us to put together this solution. We want to work providing the best quality early childhood education so we can help societies grow healthier and better. And we want to help working moms be able to work if they want to work and work accordingly. And we know that a key aspect to achieve that in Mexico is for our services to be affordable. So we've tackled that, we've tackled the quality, and by working with our corporate partners, we are also very flexible in their own special needs. So we have extended and flexible hours, and we just adapt to whatever each company requires. And it turns out that on-site childcare facilities are very important for employees. 88% of employees, for instance, report that having a daycare facility on site was very important to get back to work after having a child. And 87% report less absences, 87% of them report higher productivity, and 95% of employees have a positive impact in their careers while better balancing work and family responsibilities because they have childcare facilities at work. So we've found these three different elements that are so relevant and timely in the Mexican context, and we've been able to assemble an amazing team that we're really, really proud of. And I'm going to start off talking very briefly about Lourdes. Lourdes is just a wonder, and we're so happy to have her. She's got over 35 years of experience in early childhood education. She's done community work, community training. She's specialized in the Montessori pedagogy, but she's not closed-minded just to the Montessori pedagogy as it may happen to certain teachers or pedagogists. And she's just plain brilliant, and we're truly, truly excited to have her. We also have on our team, Germán Zubia. He's got a master's in local economic development from LSE. He used to work for Ashoka, for the university context. He's very well connected, and he's just a surefire, and we're also very, very lucky to have him. And myself, I'm an Acumen Fellow. I've done both nonprofit and profit work in the past, and I like best doing business strategy and social enterprise. Our objective, therefore, is to put this societal need and context and our team together to reach 200 centers in 5 years. And there's a variety of operational models that we can borrow to get there. But we want to touch in the end about 12,000 children and a bit more working moms in these 5 years. They may seem like big numbers, but India did 300 in the same 5 years, and we're growing after their steps. So this is certainly an objective that we feel is feasible if we do things right. Let me share with you a little bit about our pilot and how we're setting off to achieve those 200 centers. We got our first seed financing in July last year of 2.6 million pesos. By the way, all figures in this presentation are in pesos. And depending on the latest tweet, the exchange rate is currently about 21 pesos to a US dollar. So we got that seed funding in July. We opened our first center in August with our corporate partner that belongs to a large corporate center where we have big potential upside. In May, we have scheduled to open a second center with another one of their locations. And we're also going to open a center with FEMSA, which is Coca-Cola in Mexico. And we're looking to raise our second seed financing as well in May for 10,000 million pesos that I'll speak about in more detail in a minute. And through this pilot, we've got some key results that we're very happy about. These are, as you know, always hypotheses that you test out in early startups and enterprises. But one that we're very happy about is we were able to lower our setup cost by around 30%, which is brilliant. The number of children We're currently at 20. We had a stretch goal of reaching 30. So we're still falling a little bit short of that, but that is honestly not out of the norm for the type of services that we provide. But we wanted it to stretch it, and we're still aiming it for that. So we're testing a whole bunch of promotions and different tactics to see how elastic we can make demand be for the first year of the center opening. We're also extremely happy about our model implementation, particularly on the pedagogy, but also on being able to adapt India's working and scale and operational model into Mexico, including the mobile-based ERP. And that is perhaps showing in the quality metrics that we currently have of all of our parents being highly satisfied and would recommend. Moving on to the business model. On the revenue side, partners contribute setup costs and a monthly tax-deductible fee. This way they can increase productivity and talent attraction. And parents receive a subsidized fee that can range from 0 to 170 pesos per month for the full service. And in so doing, they're able to work while their kids are in a loving and stimulating environment. That revenue covers our costs, primarily driven by the centers, which are the ones that provide the superior early child care and education through flexible and extended hours. But it also covers the admin and overhead, which allows us to do the development, setup, and operation management of all of the centers, and in so doing, guarantee the safety, quality, and the service consistency. And this is the second seed financing. We are requesting 10 million pesos, of which we already have a hard commitment of 6.5 million pesos. With this, we intend to reach 11 B2B centers and 3 B2C centers in the next 18 months. As you can see, most of it will be spent on OPEX, some of it on working capital, CAPEX, and a little bit of a buffer. But please notice that the buffer is even lower than the expected sales that we intend to have in the next 18 months. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you having us, and I hope you are on board with us, because if we free the child's potential, we will free them into the world. Thank you very much.